Today we are going over everything you need to know before buying Sparking Zero. I know that it's only a few days away, but we need to talk about all the things that you should know before you purchase it. Coming in at number 1, Crossplay is not in the game. Now, I know it's one of those things that they can totally add later down the road, but sadly, on launch, there's going to be no Crossplay. So the question is, where should you play the game? I know not everybody has got the ability to play on their choice of system, but if you were wondering which one is the one to play on, it's gonna be PlayStation. Now, before you guys on Xbox freak out, I'm gonna tell you guys right up front, later on in this video, you guys have an advantage over PlayStation. So you're gonna wanna stick around right to the end because we got some good tips here. But it's true, PlayStation does have an advantage here because PlayStation tends to have more anime and fighting game fans. So they're usually all on PlayStation. It's just kind of how it goes. One of those things where most people who like anime like PlayStation. As simple as that. Number 2, Whis' dodge. If you guys haven't seen the clips online, Whis has an auto dodge when you are not touching the controller. So does UI Goku, and there's probably other characters that may have it as well. The thing is with that, it's not as broken as you think. Actually, this has been in other games before. Xenoverse 2 had the same thing for UI Goku. Now, yes, the characters are different. With Whis, it doesn't use any key to do this auto dodge, where with UI Goku, it does. This is still stoppable. You can use an ultimate and they'll have to start using their controller. If they want to attack you, they are now vulnerable and can no longer auto dodge. So as soon as they're making inputs into their controller, they're at a disadvantage again, and you can then fight them, or I should say equals. So yes, although they have an advantage when they're not touching their controller, you just have to make sure that you are touching their controller. And if you're worried about it in ranked, well, I'm sure those characters are going to cost way more points to use, which brings me to my next tip. Ranked has a DP system. If you haven't seen my videos on this, I go fully in depth, and I'll leave a link to it at the end of this video, but you guys can go and play ranked and pick up to 5 characters. But the better they are, well, the harder they are on your score. And you might end up with 2 stacked characters, but the other guy has 5 characters that are decent, and he might smack you around just because he has way more health to play with. But then you're probably wondering to yourself, how do I get those broken characters? And that brings me on to my next tip. You can buy every single character without playing the story. Now, I don't mean with a microtransaction. I'm talking with the in-game currency Zeni, which is earned literally just by fighting. You could play offline against CPUs, you could play online, you could play ranked, you could do custom battles. All of those different methods will earn you Zeni. So, as you do this, you will then be able to go purchase characters. Now, I've seen that people are saying you need to unlock proficiencies and challenges in order to then get Zeni. It's not just rewarded just for fighting, so it can't be broken like you spamming it. But we'll see. Maybe there's a glitch in the game when it comes out, and if there is, I will be covering it. So make sure you guys hit that subscribe button and turn on notifications so you don't miss that video if that happens. Coming in next, we're gonna go with the in-game currency. Zeni itself isn't just used for character unlocks. Zeni can be used for a lot of things. Now, granted, you might want to just unlock all characters right off the bat and worry about things later. I will say that Zeni is gonna start to get scarce once you start unlocking things and doing all the challenges. There's gonna be less and less challenges to grind, and you'll have to then get more Zeni by grinding ranked or online. What that Zeni could buy you is things like the music from the show. It can get you skins that you can use for any of your characters that you bought, and you can get capsules, which brings me to my next tip, what capsules are. If you guys haven't played the old games, you're not an old man like me, you may not know about the Patara system, but in the old games, Pataras let you get buffs and debuffs and things like that to your characters so that you can make the fight more interesting, make them a different fighting style. And that would also help you when you want to practice against CPUs. So there was a lot of cool things you could do and probably use them online in custom battles and stuff like that. But in this game, it's called Capsules. So it pretty much operates the same way, except you buy it now with the Zeni in the store. Speaking of buffs and debuffs, we have to talk about the tournament mode. So if you guys don't know, obviously there is an online mode, but the tournament mode is going to be both online and offline. And that tournament mode will let you have up to 8 characters online, and we can do custom fights where you have rules like there are no boundaries or you cannot fly. Speaking of tournaments, we have to talk about the actual character count. You may already know this, but there are 182 characters to choose from, including from Dragon Ball to Z to GT to Super and now to Daima. So we have a large scope, but they also included all of the movie characters, which, yes, there are some forms missing, like Garlic Jr.'s base form. But you know what? That's okay. We still have a lot of characters. And if you're wondering which ones are missing, I have videos on those as well. Now, one of the modes that almost didn't return to the game was split screen. I know it sounds crazy for a fighting game to not have split screen, but they almost didn't include it. And although the franchise has been pretty much gone for 17 years, and when I say franchise, I mean Budokai Tenkaichi, not Dragon Ball, don't get it twisted. They decided they were going to launch this game without it until they saw the outcry from the community that everybody was asking for it to return. And so they did. They gave us what we wanted. And you might be upset that it's just on one map, but let me tell you, I am so happy that it is returning in general that I'm not going to complain. That's just the honest truth. And who knows, maybe in the future they will optimize it and add more maps. But until then, we only have the hyperbolic time chamber because I'm assuming it is so extensively hard on the systems. And I've even heard that it's probably because of the Xbox Series X having a hard time with split screen in most games. So for all you Xbox boys, if you have, hate for us, Sony ponies, I just want to let you know, not always our fault. But Xbox, don't get mad. I swear, there's a big thing that you guys have an advantage on, and we're about to get to it right after I talk about the single player experience, because in the single player experience, you guys can play up to 8 character stories. And that might sound like a lot. Some of them are short. Some of them are extremely long, because we go and follow the full stories of Goku, Vegeta, Trunks, Piccolo, Gohan, Frieza, Goku Black, and Jiren. That is a ton of content to follow. And we can go through their full stories, ranging from Dragon Ball all the way to Daima. And when that Daima and superhero content comes out, because they have already announced that's the DLC, you can expect probably some single player content, which finally, that should be happening. I know we have Kakarot for that, but you know what? I like seeing different perspectives, and they'll probably extend other characters' stories. So who knows? Now, there's a custom battle experience that can be used in single player along with multiplayer. And this custom battle experience is going to be so amazing for all people who do content, but also when you want to just try something difficult. You see, you can make your own custom battles with custom stories, custom lines, dialogue, the whole shebang. And although the characters won't read them out loud, they will be writing it out. And sometimes the English is a little broken because they give you a lot of customizable, situations. So it's not going to always be perfect, but the fights themselves can be extremely challenging. There's an example where someone said it's you versus UI Goku, but it's not shown that it's UI Goku. It's actually Whis training Goku in the custom battle story. And as you're training him, Goku progressively evolves into different forms. And UI Goku, if you don't know, is a different character than the Super Goku that goes up to Goku Blue. So you can have things hidden inside of the custom battles in order to not spoil your story that you want to tell. Very, very cool. I'm super, super interested to get to this. And I hope you guys also make me some custom battles that are difficult and send them my way. But be fair warned, if you guys make it too hard and you can't even beat your own challenge, you won't be able to submit it, because that is the exact same system that they used in Mario Maker and they are going to continue to use in this game. But now, finally, our big bonus tip, especially for all you Xbox players, so pay attention. You have your standard edition, you have your deluxe edition, and then you have the most expensive, which is the Ultimate Edition. Each edition goes up in price, and they get more bonuses such as Season Pass and stuff like that. The Deluxe and the Ultimate get you a little earlier Season Pass content. So when that content gets dropped, that DLC, everybody with those editions gets the content earlier. But there's something most people didn't tell you about. You see, there's a method to getting the game earlier without buying a Deluxe or Ultimate Edition. And for Xbox users, it's extremely simple and doesn't cost you a single dollar. For PlayStation users, it's a little harder, and you will have to get a different copy, so it may not be worth it to you. If you're interested in finding out more about that, do me a favor, hit the like button and go check out this video that's on screen right now, because YouTube knows this is what you need.